Hey everyone, let's talk about something a lot of parents dream about: sending their kid to a great university so they can make all the right friends, and those friendships will basically launch them into a successful life. You know the story: study hard, get into a top school like Harvard or Stanford, hang out with the right people, and boom, doors open everywhere. But is that really how it works, especially in places like the US or Europe? Let's break it down, one idea at a time, and look at what the real-world numbers and experiences actually say. First off, the whole plan kind of assumes that success comes from joining an exclusive club, where loyalty and who you know matters more than what you can actually do. In reality though, favoritism and nepotism do exist. Plenty of people admit it happens, but it usually backfires. Companies that play favorites end up with unhappy workers and slower growth. On the West, most places at least try to reward talent and hard work. Referrals help you get interviews, sure, but if you can't do the job, you won't keep it. Second, when parents push this idea super hard, it sometimes feels like they're saying, "We can't hand you a business or a pile of money, so go make friends with kids who already have those things." But the truth is, most successful people build their own path. 3/4 of Americans work for companies started by folks who didn't even go to fancy schools. Skills and experience beat inherited advantages most of the time. Third, people imagine you'll graduate with dozens of super useful contacts. In practice, only about 1 in 10 graduates say their alumni network was really helpful for finding a job. Sure, staying active in those groups can boost your earnings a bit, maybe 20% over a few years, but if you don't keep in touch, those connections fade fast. Life moves on, people change jobs, and phone numbers go out of date. Fourth, we picture everyone from top schools heading straight to Wall Street or big corner offices. Actually, most end up in regular jobs, just like everyone else. Only a small percentage become CEOs or famous entrepreneurs. A degree helps you earn more on average, but it doesn't turn the majority into power players. Fifth, the magic is supposed to happen from casual hangouts and parties on campus. But rich or ambitious kids often do their real networking outside school, at conferences, clubs, or online. You can meet just as many useful people at a tech meetup or industry event as you can in a dorm lounge. Sixth, if the goal is connections, you'd think students would spend all their time shaking hands and going to events. But top schools load you up with work, homework, exams, projects, so there's barely time to breathe, let alone become a master networker. Most kids focus on grades and internships, because that's what actually lands the first job. Seventh, what if instead of spending 5 years in classrooms, someone started working on real projects or a small business early? Plenty of successful entrepreneurs never finished college, and many who did say the degree wasn't the key. On average, a degree pays off financially, but if your goal is building something of your own, real-world practice often beats textbooks. Eighth, here's a big one: even if you land a high-paying job thanks to connections, the shine wears off pretty quick. Once you're there, you might find yourself answering to bosses you don't respect, stuck in meetings, and following rules that feel pointless. Studies show self-employed people, those who run their own show, are generally happier, because they control their time and decisions. Ninth, young classmates rarely make the best business partners right out of school. The average age when people start really successful companies is around 42. 22-year-olds, no matter how promising, still have a lot to learn from real life. Partnerships that last are usually built later, when everyone's had some bumps and bruises. And finally, if we're talking about truly competitive, merit-based fields, like tech startups chasing venture money, having gone to the same school only gets you in the door for a conversation. After that, investors and partners care about results, traction, and skills. The shared alumni bond doesn't carry you far. So here's the bottom line: college connections can give you a small boost, maybe open a few doors early on, but they're far from a golden ticket. In the US and Europe, what really moves the needle long-term is what you can actually do, how hard you're willing to work, and the freedom to build something on your own terms. If you learn to earn a living, solve problems, and get along with people, you're already ahead of the game, no exclusive club membership required.